Welcome to this episode of Consider It Blacklit. I am Kim, your host, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, Consider It Blacklit highlights films, television programs, and stage plays that feature African Americans both up front and behind the scenes. We also discuss social issues as it relates to some of these programs and how they may or may not impact our communities. So thank you for tuning in, and we hope you continue to tune in each week. Today, I am excited to highlight one of my favorite film festivals, the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. Let's take a look at their video.
Get in early on the 15th annual Run&Shoot Filmworks Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. Save the dates, August 8th through 12th, for this 5-day festival on the beautiful island of Martha's Vineyard. Meet fellow artists and celebrate the works of independent and emerging African American filmmakers. Enjoy film screenings, festival premieres, panel discussions, award ceremonies, and more. Be part of the party. Buy your all-access pass now at MVAAFF.com. Don't miss the 15th annual Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival.
Today, I'm excited to have the founders of the festival, the husband and wife team, Floyd and Stephanie Rance. Welcome.
Hey.
Hi, thank you for having us.
I'm so excited to have you guys here. You were one of the first guests I really wanted to have on my show, so I'm glad you finally made it.
Thank you.
So before we start talking about the festival, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves and specifically Run&Shoot Filmworks.
Right. Super. Myself, I graduated from Howard University.
HU.
And immediately afterwards, I did an internship with Mr. Spike Lee. And I was very fortunate to have that opportunity. There was another HU grad there. His name was Ernest Dickerson. And ironically, Ernest, I went to the same high school as Ernest as well. So that kind of put me right in his back pocket. But I did an internship with him. I climbed his ladder. Eventually, I became his cinematographer. I shot a couple of things for him. I shot a classic music video called Loungin' by Guru. I shot some other stuff on some of his features. After working with him, I got on the commercial circuit and I started doing a lot of commercials, a lot of high-end television commercials. Polo Ralph Lauren, working with a lot of photographers, Bruce Weber, Arthur L. Gore. Did a lot of CoverGirl stuff, a lot of high-end cosmetics and apparel stuff. In 2000, I started Run&Shoot Filmworks, which was my production company. So I was looking for more opportunities to direct and or shoot. Run&Shoot Filmworks does basically anything visual. So we do commercials, promos, anything visual. We'll capture anything. We'll create it, produce it, and direct it.
Okay.
Around 2002, we started the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. That was myself and my wife. That was solely her idea.
Okay, so Stephanie, why don't you tell us about your background?
Yes, thanks for having us, Kim. We are definitely appreciative of this opportunity. I did not go to Howard. I went to Pratt Institute, where I was a fashion major and did not end up in fashion. I took a course, a PR course, and the lady who was instructing in that course, she and I hit it off. I loved PR. She happened to be doing PR actually for the editor of the film, this gentleman named Barry Alexander Brown. He had a publicist, I don't know why, but she was working on the film in that capacity, and I was her intern, and I got to work on that, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Oh my God, Spike Lee, and Do the Right Thing, this is great, and didn't really understand what it meant to be freelance, and didn't get, once the film was over, look for another job. So once that opportunity ended, I didn't want to work with her in PR. I got another internship again at EMI. It was SBK Records at the time, and I interned in the A&R department and worked my way up the ladder, and it was awesome. I was working for the #2 person at the company, so I had really great access to a lot of amazing artists. After that, I worked for Larry Flint, not for the Skin publication. Every time I say, people are like, oh, okay, let's talk about that.
Are we going to see you in a magazine?
No, it wasn't for that. He had a really great magazine called Code, and it was a style magazine for men of color. It was ahead of its time. It was fabulous, and it was all black. It was, we had all the black stylists and makeup artists and model. It was an amazing experience, and I was doing all the marketing for that publication. From there, I was doing some stuff with Martell Cognac, which brought me to Martha's Vineyard. Floyd and I used to go there and hang out when we were dating, but at Martell, I rented a house by some chance on island, and we had Martell, we had DJ, and we had food. So it was the bomb. Everybody was there. And then by chance, someone bought some films to it, and they convinced the owner on Circuit Avenue to use the theater, and the line was around the block. And I think, I thought I had something there, and that's how we started the film festival.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, because my next question was going to be,
Sure.
how did you start, which you answered.
Yeah.
And why Martha's Vineyard?
Well, like she said, we used to go up there when we were dating.
And you just like that?
Well, what happened actually was we would go up there. We were dating, hanging out, doing our thing. And originally the event was going to be in Barbados.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was doing a film down there actually, and she came down to keep an eye on me.
No, I wanted to go to Barbados
She came
and hang
down
out.
to keep an eye on me. And I was doing a film. She came down and she was like, "Oh wow, I really like it. It's beautiful, blah blah blah." And I think she had already had the idea to do a film festival, just trying to figure out where.
Right.
And when she came there, she was like, "Oh, I want to do it here." So she contacted the tourism board, and it was all thumbs up, and they loved it, and it was, the wheels were in motion. And then 9/11 happened. Right, so then everything, as you know, across the world just stopped.
Yep.
No one's going nowhere, no one's doing nothing. So that was deaded. So then it was like the next best thing was like, oh, okay, well, let's do it here. Because it makes sense when you think about it, because no one's going to let you come to Barbados for a film festival. Your company's probably not going to send you there. Like, where are you going again?
Barbados, and what are you doing?
Exactly. Insurance. So it probably, Martha's Vineyard has its challenges in that regard as well, but over time people have kind of warmed up to the idea, and it has its own credibility and its own buzz. So they'll let you come now.
Oh, okay, good, good. So why don't you tell us about, I know you said you started because you wanted to show some films and people came, but tell us about your first official festival. What did that look like? Like, did you have a lot of people? You have a lot of films?
Well, the story we tell is like the first year that we did it, it was in July. It wasn't in August that time. It was in July. It was around the 4th of July weekend, which is a big weekend, but not as big as the weekends in August now. And this was a different time.
Before social media.
Before social media. Martha's Vineyard has had big events in the past, and they used to have kind of like you had mentioned Freaknik earlier, so they kind of had like a little Freaknik thing happening, and that didn't go too well.
Right.
There was a lot of fallout. Anytime you mix liquor and young adults, there's always going to be some shenanigans.
Right.
But anyway, the event was tiny. It was an iota. It was like real small, minuscule.
10 people.
Yeah, but again, there was no use of social media. There was no, the pre-planning was, I think the success of it was just getting it off the ground.
Right.
Right, just giving birth to it, the idea and actually doing it. And just like when you're creating a film, sometimes that's all you need. It's just let's just start rolling the film. Let's put somebody in front of the camera, let's slate it, and let's roll the camera.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just get going. Never mind that we don't have this, that, or the other thing. Let's just do it. And so that was somewhat, the energy that we had going into it. Now, at least that was my end. On her end, she was a little bit more disappointed that no one was there. There were a couple other folks that were involved, and they were disappointed, and there was some fallout. But my whole idea was like, no, let's stick with this. This is not the worst thing in the world.
Right.
Let's go for it.
Let's go for it.
So there was only like, I remember when we had a tent on the great lawn, the lawn.
Right.
Yeah,
By
there
the
was like
gazebo.
there was like a little tent. It wasn't like a big tent. It was like a little, whatever, 10 by 10 tent. It was the registration table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because the idea was people are going to come off the boat and come straight to here.
Okay. They're not going to drop off their bags. They're just going to come to the tent.
That was the idea.
Okay.
With our tiny sign.
Yeah, it's a tiny little sign. And believe it or not, the screenings were at the PAC.
Okay.
So, but if you think of the tent on the great lawn, and then you have to go all the way to the PAC.
Not good planning.
Logistically, it just wasn't a good flow.
Right.
Right, because it should flow. So, long story short, it wasn't, and people were kind of like, they were more curious, if anything, like, oh, what is this? What are you doing?
Right.
Okay, oh, okay, yeah, let's check you out later, you know, that type of thing.
Right. Yeah, so let's talk about, you know, you said when you did the first one, it wasn't that many people,
Right.
about 10 people, but now look at you. Let's talk about how you've grown and how you've evolved over the years.
I think, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think social media has definitely, you know, it's amazing how you can reach people all over the world through social media. I think that's been a really, really a big help for us in terms of awareness and letting people know about it. And I think our circle as well, you know, with both of us having entertainment backgrounds and knowing a lot of different people and them supporting us, I think has really helped us. I do.
One thing I like about your festival is like the intimacy. Like, you don't really have like, I know when I go to some of the larger festivals, it's like if you don't pay extra money, if you're not a VIP, you don't really get to interact with people.
Right.
Or celebrities or filmmakers that you want to talk to. I almost feel like I'm a groupie a little bit. But one thing I like about your festival is you could be standing next to a celebrity or whatever and you can interact with anyone. And I think that's something that's good with the filmmakers because it's a better networking opportunity.
Absolutely. And I think that lends itself to the island, honestly, because the island is so small and compact. You know, you really can't escape. You're going to, whoever's there, you're going to see them on Circuit Avenue or at the Inkwell or somewhere on that island. You know what I mean? So we really wanted to, you know, Martha's Vineyard, everybody's a VIP. We don't do that whole.
I have a story. It's such a funny story. My friend is going to be mad at me. But I remember one year you had Ben Vereen there.
Yeah, Ben was awesome.
And we were at a white party and you had an alcohol sponsor and we were drinking.
On the roof of the mansion house.
And we were talking to Ben. But then we thought he had turned around, and I was with a friend of mine who was a comedian, and she started imitating Chicken George.
Oh my God.
So we turned around, and Ben Vereen was staring right at us. No. We were so embarrassed. I think we left after that.
Are you serious?
Yes.
How do you imitate Chicken George?
How do you do that? I guess he didn't find it funny.
He
was just staring.
Yeah, he was like, what are you doing? I mean, like, what are you doing?
Anyway,
that's funny.
That's a good story.
One of the most fun times we've had at that festival.
Was that on the roof of the?
It was on the roof.
It was on the roof. Okay.
Yeah, that was our famous Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival story. How we imitated Chicken George.
Oh my gosh.
And he was looking right at us.
That's
So you have a lot of fun.
That's funny.
So, you know, over the years, what is this, your 15th year?
We're going into our 16th. Yeah.
Going to your 16th year. Tell us about some of the rewarding moments you have. What has really given you pleasure and you're like, yeah, you know, we've really got this?
Okay, so many. They really are, and they seem so small, but they're probably so big. And I'm sure she has some that probably they're different than mine. One thing, like I alluded to it earlier, was that the festival is somewhat like a child. So when we first started it, she was, my son was 1. First year, he was 1. Wow. The second year, she was pregnant with my daughter, right? And so obviously my daughter's born now. And so there was my son, my daughter, and then the film festival. So the film festival is kind of like the third child, right? And I have this picture of her breastfeeding, I think both children at the same time that I took at the film festival. So it's
you
kind
didn't show anybody, did you?
No.
Okay. Okay.
But it's a beautiful picture. It's a gorgeous picture.
I think it was just Zaire.
She's like passed out, right? And my son is nursing, and my daughter, I think, is sleeping under her arm.
That's what it was.
So they're all kind of like in this moment. And I know I took it because I was staying at the Harbor View. And I took it, and it probably had, right before we had to get up to go do something at the film festival. So for me, it's kind of like, you know, it's all one family right there.
Yeah.
Those moments right there for me are really, you know, kind of special because you're so exhausted. And I have a picture as well, another picture of the three of us like standing. Somebody's probably doing their Q&A, and we're standing there, and we're just exhausted. We all look like we're just about to pass out.
Yeah.
So moments like that for me are really, I treasure those moments. And like the volunteers that I've had, I treasure those people. Like the gentleman I mentioned, his name is Tim. He's a PR person now, and he came out of, like, they come like angels.
Yeah, they do.
And he shows up, and Tim is funny. He was a funny guy. He was a young guy at the time. And I remember he was like, I'm from Mississippi, I'm gay, you know, and he's like this big, brawly dude, you know. And he had a good time. And I remember Stephanie.
Don't tell that story.
You told the story. I'm going to tell you a story. Stephanie was pregnant, right? So she's pregnant. And Tim went out. He went out the night before. He hung out, you know. I guess he was drinking, hanging out. So we wake up like whatever, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and she knocks on his door. She knocks real hard. Dang, 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 dang. And so he comes out, he said, "Don't knock on my door. I will be there." And I looked at her, I was like, "Ooh, we got you."
It sounded like he had enough.
Yeah, exactly.
He probably had a hangover or something like that. But he's
funny.
I always treat all the volunteers with special love. Anybody who's volunteered in the past is always welcome to come back. I give them no hard time. They come for free. It's not a big deal. And there's so many of them. Tim was one of them. There's a girl named Melissa who came. She was extremely helpful as well. Those little angels is what I call them.
It's good, it's good. So let's talk about some of your other supporters. Like, let's talk
Sure.
about your sponsors and how they've participated
Yeah.
in the past.
HBO's been amazing. They've been with us for 14 years. They've been really, friends and a great supporter. They've been really wonderful. Actually, they were our first sponsor, and our relationship with other people there has grown as well. Dennis Williams and Lucinda's team. It's been wonderful. They've been wonderful. Sachi and Sachi's been with us for 8 years. Maybe 8 years now. Also wonderful. Sheldon Levy was the EVP of broadcast production. They just saw the vision and really appreciated who we were and what we're trying to do, and they've been great. There's been so many sponsors. The studios have been amazing, letting us screen the films. And like Floyd, Spike Lee's been wonderful as well. He's been a great supporter and contributor of his work to the festival. And yeah, it's been wonderful, yeah.
So you also had this program called The Color of Conversation that I actually went to Macy's to saw that I thought was great. Why don't you just tell the audience a little bit about what that's about?
The Color of Conversation is a panel discussion where we, discuss topics that affect people of color. And in the past, we've partnered with Macy's, and we did some stuff with CBS with Josie, which was amazing as well. So typically, we may show a film or clips, and we have luminaries from the entertainment industry come and just talk about it. It's really great. We love it, and we do it at the festival. So after every big film, they bring the cast or the director, and we call that our Color of Conversation.
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
great.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. You've been doing this for 15 years. Have you seen a shift in some of the themes that are of the films that are being submitted? And the reason I asked this, I had another film festival on my show, and they had said 1 year, it seemed like every film was a black hair story. So I was wondering, do you see like a noticeable shift in the themes and the subject matter?
It depends on what's going on
in
in the country. There was a time when we used to get a lot of police brutality films. We still get those. At one point, we got a lot of dark-skinned, light-skinned films. We get a lot of like in the earlier days now. And then there was a time we got a lot of LGBTQ content, and we still get that. But it's interesting. We haven't, this year, we didn't really get a lot of, and I thought we would. We didn't get a lot of like anti-administration type films. We didn't get that.
Maybe next year.
We did get one, though.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Whiteface. Yeah, maybe next year. But sometimes something big happened. Like when Katrina happened, we got a lot of those type of films.
Okay.
We did. So it depends.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get more kind of like docs from Haiti.
Oh, yeah. We didn't get a lot of those. Yeah.
We didn't get a lot of that. So I guess that just tells me a lot of filmmakers didn't go down there to document the devastation.
Right.
But yeah, in some respects, the content is cyclical.
It mirrors what's happening in society.
It kind of comes back. It's always going to be a hair piece.
Yep.
I think that's...
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
There's got to be a hair
No,
piece.
it's always some drama with our hair.
Yeah, there's got to be. And they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I've seen... Then it's not like I'm watching and say, "Oh, I saw this last year." Oh, I saw
That's
this
true.
last year.
That's true.
Yeah, they mix it up a little
Yeah.
bit. There's different styles of doing it. It might be documentary, it might be narrative, might be short, might be feature. The light skin, dark skin thing, not so much. I've seen it, but that doesn't come.
That's
every
phased.
year.
Yeah.
LGBTQ Typically, yeah. It's typically either the director is a member or, you know, LGBTQ, or the content is. So, or both. And then their subject could vary. So they could be telling a story about something that has nothing to do with it, or they could be telling that story. And sometimes they let you know, sometimes they don't let you know.
Okay.
You know.
You know what else is interesting too is we get a lot of questions from people who aren't of African or African American descent, and they'll email us and say, "Hey, I'm white. I did a film about this. Can I submit?" And it's an interesting question because it's like, of course you can. We're not racist. You can, if it has to just deal with, you know, African or African American, whatever, or the cast or the producer, something. So we get a lot of films directed by non-black people, which is interesting and nice. And we get now we're getting a lot of Latino content, which is really nice. And we've had a couple of Asian directors, which is really nice as well. So it's like morphing into this. Of course, our base is always African American, but more of a multicultural.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is nice.
So tell me, what is it that you look for in a film that's submitted to your festival?
I look for a lot of things. I have a technical filmmaking background, so technically I look for a lot of things. I look at the composition of the cameras. I look at the acting. I look at the lighting. I look at the direction. What I see is sometimes I see all of that and I give it all a thumbs up. Sometimes not so much. Sometimes a film can make it on effort. So if a person gave good effort, meaning that if I see that they gave good effort, but maybe this wasn't great or that wasn't great, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. You know, they make it on effort. Sometimes they make it on subject matter, all right? But typically, from a technical standpoint, everything should be at least par, right? And that's important to me. And then we kind of pass it around amongst our panel and make that determination.
Do you guys ever disagree on a film?
Yes.
All the time. All the time.
Yes.
So how is it in general working with your spouse in this? I mean,
It's great. You know, it's
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. I mean, I love the fact that it's a husband and wife team, and I love the fact that our kids get to see something that we do, you know, like all the hard work and the arguing and whatever, and then they come to the Vineyard and they see the love that we get for this festival. But yeah, it's tough. It's because we're so close to it. Like, we can't separate. It's not like you work at a job and, you know, I hate you, I hate you too, and then you go home and you kind of cool down and you're like, I'm sorry, but you know, we got to go to bed and wake up. So I think I'm more of a heart person, so I feel bad. I'm like, let's accept it. You know what I mean? And Floyd's very technical. He's like, this has to, all the, you know, T's and I's have to be dotted and crossed.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about 2018. I saw that you guys started marketing for it already.
Absolutely.
And filmmakers can submit their films.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to just throw out some dates and deadlines?
Sure.
And
The deadline for submission is May 31st, 2018. They can go to MVAAFF.com. It's just an acronym for Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. The online registration is there. They can submit a link to their film and send it in.
Okay.
And there's a monetary fee for shorts, features, and documentaries. It's nominal.
Right. And that's with all festivals.
Yes.
There's a fee. Yeah. And also, you mentioned volunteers. If people wanted to volunteer, they go to the website also? Or
Go to the website. I don't think we have it up just yet, but maybe when you show this, it will be up. The volunteer application is
Right.
online.
Okay. And
And
we're
now
going to
that's
put
a
on the
stringent-
screen all this information
Yeah,
so
that's
people
a
can do
stringent
it.
process as well. Because
is.
a lot of folks want to be able to volunteer
But hang out.
to get in for free.
Yes.
But we really take that. I take it very serious. You know, if you want to come and volunteer, we appreciate you. We love you. We bless you. But you know, come prepared to learn, and come prepared to not necessarily work.
Yes, but work.
Yeah, but work. Yeah, hang out. There's tons of things to do.
Because there can be joy in work, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, but we've been really blessed with having amazing volunteers. Like, they come and they've been awesome. And, you know, true story, our lead volunteer coordinator, Charlene, started out as a attendee of the festival, you know, and she met her husband coming to the festival, which is great. It's one of the things that I love about it, the connections that happen. And she volunteered for a couple of years, and then we hired her on to be our, volunteer coordinator.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
So she's amazing, and she, because it's too big now. Like he and I can't be. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So there's like tons of applications that come in, and she screens them really, really well.
Oh,
so
that's great.
yeah,
That's great.
yes.
Yeah, the event has grown. I don't think you've been to it since it's been at the PAC.
No, let me see. No, I don't think I have been there.
Wow.
Since it's been at the PAC.
Yeah, so the PAC is an 850.
And we fill it up.
850 seat arena.
Is that the one in Edgartown?
No, it's in OB.
Okay.
It's
okay.
The Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
You're
at the
right.
high
I
school.
haven't been to that
Yeah, it's
one.
at-
I will definitely be
We
there
put a
next
10
year.
out. We put a 10 outside too.
Not on the Great Lawn.
Not on the Great
Okay.
Lawn, and it's
Then we
not
moved
10
it-
by 10
yeah,
either.
okay, okay.
It's a huge tent with the floor on it and everything.
Okay.
So it's really nice. It's really I don't want to say we've outgrown that venue.
But we've outgrown that venue.
Okay, well, I mean, sort of, kind of, not really.
Okay. I'm definitely coming next year.
Yeah, if you can.
So we're running out of time. I could sit here and talk to Stephanie and Floyd all night
You didn't
about
ask me about the pros and cons.
Uh,
I'll let you do your outro. Do your outro.
okay. Now that I've gotten control back, that's our time for today. We're going to put on the screen all the information about the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. Please put it on your calendars to go next year. It is a great time. So until next week, consider yourself Blacklit. Thank you.